Nirguna Bhakti is the highest form of devotion. You see, at the beginning of the path of love, we need objects or people to relate with, to experience opening of the heart and love. Typically, it begins according to different lineages. If one follows Shiva path, they will sing the songs worshipping the Shiva, devoting their attention, their hearts to Shiva. The same goes for the Krishna path, where Krishna and Rama are the two names and two forms that are focused upon. And the same for all the goddesses that are known, including some deeper traditions and lineages which worship goddess Kali and Durga as the highest forms of divine mother. In some way, Christianity also has bhakti approach, since Jesus is the superstar of Christian faith, and Mother Mary is also the being of devotion, of surrender, of love, of the Christian faith tradition. So whichever traditions we look at, it usually starts with a being, a person that is idealized, that all attention is focused upon. That's where the heart is placed on that person to connect in the heart with this being. So this is called Saguna Bhakti, the path of devotion with form. Now, of course, in the deeper traditions, they say that, not all, but some of them say that by repeating the mantra of Krishna, Hare Krishna, that ultimately you are focusing on the Supreme Lord, or they call it Krishna consciousness, but still the personality of Krishna or the form of Krishna is still interwound in this approach. I have looked very deeply into Krishnaism specifically because it's one of the most developed paths of bhakti, one of the most advanced paths of bhakti. And at the highest region, I looked very closely into their charts of cosmology and found that at the highest level, there is what they call the Krishna Lok, or the Vrindavan, the abode where Krishna and Radha are united in their highest forms. So that place, which is the highest in that tradition, is actually in the supracosmic region. So they point basically to the high abode, which is beyond this universe, that's correct. And in the multitude of universes is a specific place where Krishna is the Lord, Krishna and Radha are the lords of that region. However, this is as far as ISKCON goes, the International Society of Krishna. We even visited their main temple in Vrindavan, so quite familiar in many ways. Now, if we look at the Shiva Bhakti path, it goes lower than that. The same goes also for Kali and Durga Bhakti path, that it goes lower than the Krishna path. However, tradition of Sikhs are pointing higher above. The Sikh tradition point to the divine regions, and even more specifically, the very roots at the deepest or highest level is what is called the Kabir Panth, the path of Kabir. He published an article about Kabir and the divine cosmology that we present is very aligned with this root lineage of the Kabir path. Now, most of you will say you never heard of this before, and no wonder why, because all that you can ever hear in the West about Kabir are the poems, the songs that you can buy little books on Amazon. But this is like a very tip of a colossal, gigantic iceberg. So what is available in the English language is very limiting. And in the article about Kabir, specifically, I put the information that Kabir was focusing on the Nirguna Bhakti of the formless devotion, of the formless love. So Nirguna is formless bhakti. The story of his life also relates very well that Kabir used a mantra which is quite familiar, but the way he used it was at the highest level, highest degree. So Kabir used the mantra Ram, 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 R-A-M. Not Rama or Krishna or Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, not that, no. It has nothing to do with Krishna, nor really with Rama. This mantra, Ram, it's more ancient mantra, and particularly it has a very specific resonance to balance at the lowest level your three key energy centers, which are in your spine. So it balances the masculine, the feminine, and unites in the crown chakra. This happens by repeating the mantra Ram, and at the lowest level, it helps you to balance your energy system. However, Kabir also pointed that it is the current of sound, or in his language, it's the Shabd, which goes all the way up into the source and sustains all of the creations. So Kabir's devotion was to the highest formless love, which is the love at the Anami lock, which is the nameless lock. And in those divine regions, it is where this love of God, we may say, has emanated from itself the sound and light current, which then was used to create all the souls and all the universes and all creations at every level below. So it is the sound and light current of the highest degree. And of course, when you begin the mantra Ram, you activate at the lowest level, at the very bottom of the whole scale, and then slowly you work yourself way up. So this has developed this Nirguna Bhakti of Kabir. So Kabir has initiated Guru Nanak, which is the first guru of the Sikh lineage. It is a beautiful lineage which is based on the 10 gurus. Guru Nanak was the first, and then there were 9 more gurus who have composed their devotional text into one grand text. In Christianity, it's the Bible. In the Sikh tradition, it's the Guru Granth Sahib, the grand book of 10 gurus. How beautiful that 10 of them over centuries have contributed to this book. So indeed, it is a special one. So we will focus at the deepest, truest bhakti, which leads us to the highest divine ocean of love and mercy. And this is why I gave you a little background of different paths of bhakti. Even Christianity is, in certain way, the deepest, truest Christianity, because Jesus was and is a guru of love. That's what he is, if we look at him from this perspective. And the same way in Hindu tradition and in Islam as well. Islam is very devotional, with Allah being the highest, and their own saints of Islam, Muhammad, and so on. So having a background of various bhakti paths of the world, we can see how high they go, how deep they go. Where do they stop? And is there further track of love above? Does it go higher than the face of Krishna? Does it go deeper than the form of Jesus? At the same time, I also need to mention that Krishna and Jesus are also extremely high degree gurus, because in their higher forms, in their divine forms, they are established in the freedom of divine. However, the tradition of Christianity doesn't reach that, nowhere near. And the most developed tradition of Krishna also doesn't reach divine at all. Well, they're kind of one big step behind. They don't have practices to go from the supracosmic into the divine region. I looked at it very closely, what they have, and had discussions with some people as well about that. Even though Krishnaism doesn't go there to the highest region, but Krishna himself, not in his kingdom of this supracosmic, well, they call it divine, but it's not really so. But this beautiful abode, this is extremely beautiful and so on, but that's a place, that's an abode. But Krishna himself, in his highest form, is a liberated divine being. So that's where organized religion is evidently where they have their limitations. Another question we have: how is love experienced at these planes of existence? Well, here on earth, we know of romantic love. We know of conditional love between male and female, or nowadays can be even male-male and female-female. That love is between two people. It's between one and another. It can also be with your beloved pets, or at the even lower level, people fall in love with their own bodies and they worship them and love them. And they put 1,000,000 tattoos on their bodies. And I'm seeing this trend now of these hardcore body lovers. Nothing wrong with a tattoo, but if you make your whole body as a piece of art, then it means that you have a big investment in your looks. So anyway, it's the same expression of loving the body. People can love material possessions, and then people can love animals, and other people. So this is most common love experienced on earth. Now, when we go to higher region, there is inner love, but even inner love is a love of form. It is less conditional, but it is energetic love. It has a specific color, pink. It is a specific energy of love, of a pink love energy. This goes deeper and deeper, of course, and this love becomes more open, more unconditional. At a cosmic level, love turns to be more like compassion, of seeing all the forms of people suffering, or even if people are happy, the bodhisattva or the cosmic yogi will have a compassion even for happy people, because he knows or she knows that this worldly happiness is just a circumstantial event which sooner or later will turn into something else. So at the cosmic level, it is this compassion which is developed for everyone. In other words, for all the objects. Then we go into the higher region of the universal love. And in the universal love, we recognize that love is the glue that keeps all the universe together, has given birth to the universe, yes. To this universe I'm speaking. It is the relationship between Brahm and Durga, which has birthed this universe and populated it, has birthed also Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as well. So this universal love is unconditional love of creation. This love that gives birth of creation, that loves the creation, which is the job of Vishnu. And at the end of the day, very unconditionally dissolves, which is the Shiva love, which dissolves what needs to be dissolved. Beyond the universal love, we may say there is a trans-universal love, or the supra-universal love, which is like ocean of potentiality of creation. Sometimes it's said like the waters of life from which creation births. So the multi-universal love is even larger in its extent, and it includes all the aspects of creation, sustenance, and dissolution, but now on even larger scale. And this is the love of the supracosmic beings and the, well, known as Param Shiva or Param Vishnu. And that's where Krishna, devotees, bhaktas, that's where they aim at. However, very few experience. It's easy, it's not that difficult to experience it, but to fully establish there, only very few gurus manage to do in the Krishna movement. So beyond that is well, that's also the region of loving awareness, of loving everything you see. Like there is a funny story with Ramdas, how he had a carpet on a wall and he made a whole thing of how much he loves this carpet on the wall. Because he loves everything, which was beautiful. So he brought that devotional aspect of loving everything in awareness. His guru of Ramdas, Neem Karoli Baba, which we have a special relationship with, connection, and we visited his ashram as well in some years ago. He, on one hand, was a devotee of Rama, but in a deeper sense, he also used the mantra Ram, not Rama or Krishna or so on, Ram. So for those who know him, he was always repeating Ram, 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 Ram. And Neem Karoli Baba is known as a very big bhakti guru, as a man. Well, Anandamayi Ma is another one, as a woman. So in this context, the Neem Karoli Baba was using also the mantra Ram, and his devotion was divine, was of a very, very high degree. So reaching the divine region, this love becomes pure. It is not love of creation, of sustenance, of dissolution, of the universes and this and that, subjects and objects and processes and what's in the middle. Divine love is pure. That's where the word pure truly relates to, or the word true, true love. Of course, now this true love is too washed out in people's common understanding. But when we speak of true happiness or true peace or true love in the highest spiritual context, then it can only be referred to divine. So divine love is pure love, or the true love. And it is not because of something, and it is not for someone or for something. It is love in itself, because everything at that level is in itself as itself. It is not dependent on anything. It is not for anyone in particular. Divine region is the true region where this pure love is abiding. And that's where the soul returns to. And of course, this love further deepens and intensifies as we go up into the six. There are 6 major divine regions. So it just deepens and intensifies, because I will quote again Kabir. He said, "No amount of simple devotion is equal to truth." So what he meant by that is that you can see priests and yogis and bhaktas, praying to Shiva, praying to Krishna, and devoting their lives to those images or statues or whatever. But no amount of that kind of devotion is equal to the truth of knowing what is truly what. That these kind of practices are only at that degree, and they are no means of liberation. So if one is worshipping Shiva, then best case, you might end up in the supracosmic region. Best case. Same goes for Kali and Durga and other goddesses and so on. So this truth is already a higher form of love, because there's divine love and there's divine truth. So this truth is deeper love, which even more penetrates things at a deeper level. So therefore, 900s, the level of consciousness, is correlated to divine truth. And this is a second region of divine. And then it continues deepening more and more and more. And Kabir in this context is actually extremely unique being, because he's not an avatar of anything. He didn't come as a messenger of this purpose. This is a whole different story, but essentially Kabir is one of the divine beings who came down to liberate the souls. That was his job, to liberate the souls and to provide the means of liberation. Because there are many things that are spiritual but are not the means of liberation. But they're spiritual. You can worship this and that. You can be busy at healing and balancing your energies. You can realize various degrees of light and truth, but still not liberation. So spirituality, well, the universes are a big range of planes of existence. So the job of Kabir was not to vanquish the evil as some of the avatars come to do on cyclical nature, and to restore the righteousness and bring the knowledge so that the balance is restored of good and bad. Not that kind of avatar at all. Kabir's essence is to come down and liberate the souls. He is not interested in cycles and this and that. So we may say, well, if we would use that kind of language, we could say that he was the avatar of the highest order. And in some ways, Meher Baba as well, the avatar of a very high order. Not the highest, but very, very high order. So this love truly goes beyond form, beyond objects, beyond creation, sustenance, dissolution, and therefore finding someone in whose heart is liberation to help liberate the souls is of the highest degree, we may say. So this is why New Humanity, Divine Life, we are focusing more and more now to assist from self-realization, which is an important step, into liberation, because that's an even bigger step.